According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, in all but 2 Australian states and territories, the rate of imprisonment has been rising since 1999. Considering a reoffence rate of almost 30% in our adult population, there is obviously some underlying issue within the current prison system. This raises questions of what to do. Clearly, confinement isn't educating prison offenders of their crime. So how do we create a system that will be beneficial to prisoners and society? Do we bide our time hoping that someone will find another terra nullius so that we can start another penal colony? Do we start to move prisoners onto hulks in the ocean? Neither of these options seem feasible or beneficial to anyone. Therefore, we have come up with a better solution. Our proposal is designed to better educate the prisoners of the seriousness of their crime whilst educating them and positively transforming their lives, hopefully bettering them as citizens and improving their own belief in themselves as better people, capable of achieving great things. This will be done by introducing them to a vastly different society and environment. We will reopen up their current assumptions to new possibilities, in turn helping them to gain a newfound respect and confidence in themselves. By the end of their experience, they may then be willing and excited to enter society and make a difference for the better. Nations that are in need will have the aid necessary to help industrialize, subsequently improving the lives of children, families and adults. Also, society may be able to open their minds up to the concept of changing people, second chances and equality for all humans, making way for a more tolerant and forgiving society.
Today we are speaking to the official father of transformative learning, Jack Mesereau. So Jack, what exactly is transformative learning?
Okay, so this is quite a complex theory. Learning involves using thought processes to make or revise an interpretation in a new context, applying the knowledge resulting from prior thought and/or tacit learning to construe new meaning in encounters. And reflective learning becomes transformative whenever assumptions or premises are found to be distorted, inauthentic or otherwise invalid. Does that make sense?
Of course, but just in case, Jack, let's put it in layman's terms.
Simply put, transformative learning is a term used to describe the process which a person initially finds themselves lost and searches for a new path, view, values on life, and becomes reintegrated into society while still maintaining the knowledge of their enlightening experience.
That's very interesting. Do you think prisoners are able to learn transformatively? And after hearing our project, what part do you think transformative learning plays in it?
I believe almost everyone is able to transform. After all, prisoners are people too. However, I think that reflection is necessary, and that's why I like this project. It allows the prisoners to reflect on their lives, mistakes and less fortunate situations. If it is successful, you'll transform and change so many lives.
In order to achieve what we have outlined, we will be sending Australian prisoners who are both psychologically and physically ready for such a challenge, as well as change to help the infrastructure of a third world nation. Of course, there will be prisoners that are not able or ready for such a task. With this in mind, we will design non-hazardous tests as well as appoint a specially selected board consisting of highly trained psychologists to select prisoners that are capable of change, of a sound mind and physically able. This board will keep in contact with the prisoner's family, and by working with families we will be able to better understand the individuals and their history. This will help to provide rehabilitation for those who are willing, which may help them to understand the error of their ways and promote a desire to reform themselves. Instead of languishing in a jail cell and undertaking the same monotonous tasks day in and day out, the prisoners will be given the tools and resources that they need to improve society for these nations that they are placed in, making a big difference to societies that may not have had the benefits and opportunities that prisoners have known in Australia. By gaining the knowledge of conditions which these developing nations live in, most prisoners will be able to reform their understanding of their own community. The practical perspective of integrating different aspects of humanity can aid in the development of prisoners. They will be given the opportunity to form new meaning from their interactions in these environments, thus giving them an interpretive process for transformative learning.
So we are here with Dr. Diane Gartland, who has worked firsthand with prisoners, being a psychiatrist at many different jails. Dr. Gartland, let's get straight into it. What do you think of our project proposal?
Please, call me Diane. I do like your proposal quite a lot. I do mostly getting people to listen, understand and heal, which is very important for each human. Your project helps put this to practice. Everyone has reasons why they do things, even if they're perceived to be unethical. And this project can help prisoners and even the Western society appreciate this. Then, by understanding other perspectives, and more importantly, their own, this will help them to begin to heal. By sending prisoners to help others, they are given the chance to heal in a non-judgmental society.
We can see so many positive aspects. Are there any negative issues that you believe we can do to avoid it now?
I'm sure you've probably thought of all of this, but the major thing is to listen to the prisoners, and not just their voices, but their body language as well. When performing these assessments that you're doing, honour whether they really don't want to go, and don't force them to go if they don't. It's not something that can be forced.
One question that is no doubt in your mind is what exactly separates this particular act from any other act of community service that could be based on Australian shores. One clear benefit of community service is that it will often provide an opportunity for the offender to see firsthand the direct injuries caused by his or her crimes, though often this relook is at a society that they had already cast away for one reason or another. By showing prisoners a vastly different society and environment, we open up their current assumptions to new possibilities. Once the Australian prisoners complete their sentences, they may well form a bond with the community. This feeling of importance will go a long way in making the road to reform prisoners less likely to re-offend and break laws, which will in turn benefit society. By getting to understand different cultures, we hope to see this view shift towards actually having more respect towards the prisoners and what they have been through. We believe that by showing others that people can change, and by using the taxpayers' money more effectively than just a timeout from society, we will gain a different perspective on reformed prisoners.
Once the prisoners have transformatively learnt and developed, our society will certainly revise previous interpretations of them into a new perspective. Although it may be slightly more expensive to relocate prisoners due to the hiring of guards, securing premises, the transporting of prisoners and providing food and materials, it will well be worth positively transforming the lives of so many. If prisoners come out of their sentence with a new appreciation for their roles in societies, or better skills, they are more likely to integrate into society. So too will our society's reality be reforged when interacting with both former and current prisoners. We spoke with Paulo Freire in 1997, just before he tragically died of heart failure. He was one of the best theorists to have lived. Here's what he had to say.
Your program gives prisoners an opportunity to develop critical consciousness, by which I mean developing their awareness of both the socio-cultural reality, which shapes their lives, and their capacity to transform the reality through action upon it.
So I just discussed this future idea with you. What do you think? Could it be possible?
Anything you put your mind to is possible. It's a very unique idea. But as long as you are willing to follow the correct steps and test and examine those who are willing to challenge and reflect on social cultural issues, it can happen. What I like most about this idea is if the first group of people are transformed and your program is successful, the Australian attitude towards prisoners will probably change. Therefore, more and more prisoners are likely to want to transform, thus breaking this death cycle.
The world really is only one place, and we need to help out fellow friends and neighbours by working together as one nation and not separate identities. In transforming the lives of prisoners in a positive way, we are not only also physically helping countries, but in effect transforming the perceptions of the world itself. Indeed, it will do Australian society well to remember that prisoners are human, much like themselves, capable of fault, capable of change, capable of compassion, and capable of greatness.